Alright, everybody. In just a sec, I will have the Twitch live chat open, and then we will be good to go for some more Beat Me, Take My Pokemon. Last one of the week for the introduction of Team 5. Why is my Twitch taking an abnormal amount of time to load? Hello, Twitch. Alright, we're... Oh. Wait. Oh, there we go. Hi, Tiger Gamer. How you doing? Which is taking me a long time to load, but we're gonna go with that. Even though it failed to load being able to chat, we're gonna go with what Twitch has. Phenomenal. Alright. Also, I obviously need to check the mic and audio. Seems fine. So we're back. We're gonna do it. We're doing it for sure. 1000%. We also got Stormtrooper in business suit. Not sure if I said hi or not. Alright, so let's go ahead. And I'm gonna connect to the internet. And we're gonna do Poke Portal. And Link Battle. And I actually didn't turn off my Switch the entire time, so we have the same link code as last time. But the new link code is going to be 21777 900. Alright, and then once the YouTube live stream catches up, I will start searching. And then we'll get into some fights. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's see. What do... Oh, I don't have my notepad open. I was going to bring up the wheel today, but I didn't have enough time, so I guess we're not going to have the wheel today. Next time for sure, though, we'll have the wheel. For any players that have not gotten a Pokemon yet. Alright, so this is going to be Tiger Gamer Run. Last time they wanted one team. Not sure what they want this time. But it doesn't matter for the first team I ran. At least the first team is always random. And we're going to pick this team. Just a reminder, Tiger Gamer, that after this you can choose to battle 3 teams one time, or... Okay, Tiger Gamer said 3 teams. Great. And I turned the screen back, didn't I? Yeah, okay. Alright, so we have a pretty similar team to Tiger Gamer's last run, I think. We have my glasses. That way I can see the beatdown that I'm about to unleash. Also, there's a chance that my glasses break whenever I'm playing, so, you know, more advantage for the opposition. I'm not entirely convinced that I can win this game without doing a couple things. And that. I think those are the things that I need to win the game. Okay, instant Primarina is fine for now, at least. We trade Intimidates, but we learn that my Incineroar is slower than their Incineroar. Don't know if my Incineroar would be faster than their Primarina, though. Actually, I can't even afford to do... Yeah, this is a tricky spot. I think I have to do this. Incineroar fakes out my Incineroar so that Incineroar can't fake out. But we get an Aura Sphere off into their Incineroar, which is pretty good. Primarina clicks Hyper Flinch, which does a lot of damage to both. Incineroar flinches and can't move. It could be Ghost Terra on Incineroar. Do I predict Incineroar to Terastallize? I think the answer for this has to be no. Primarina protects, which is good, and Incineroar did not Terastallize. So we just get to KO it with Force Spear. Hi Jack Blaze, how you doing? Unfortunately I can't guarantee anybody a battle at any point. But I can guarantee that as long as you stick around it long enough, you will definitely get to battle. It's just that we always do it based on a first come, first served basis. But there's also not that many people around right now, so I think the odds of you getting in next is pretty likely. But also, we're on this person's first battle, so they have to do 2 more after this, depending on how the next few go. I think I'm just going to put Helping Hand and Flash Cannon here. Because we've already seen the Primarina Hyper Voice. Primarina's going to leave, but for who? Luna, okay, getting some big Flash Cannon damage on this is going to be important. That's a Flash chip that I would like. The thing is though, if they go for Earthquake, they also have to hit Porygon 2 or Primarina. Luna now gets burned. What are we gonna see happen here? Facade into the steel type. Okay. And Terra Blast. First one takes some burn chip. Needy's gonna get off follow me. First one gets off the facade. Fritz and Dee, which might have mattered. We did get the intimidate down, but it is Guts facade. Still has a lot of time left on it. First one includes Headlong Rush, which is going to KO Kamo. Currently lurking while making mons. I mean, fair enough, Stormtrooper is good. And the freeze, I think. If I get frozen this next turn, then I definitely just lose. Yeah, no, I just lose. It was probably wrapped up with the Primarina in the back still. I don't think we damaged it at all, but... yeah, I guess I should have tried to protect there, but... because I didn't KO the Ursaluna. Then we can get it. Alright, well. On to the next. Tiger Gamer's just gotta win one of the next two. Very exciting, very exciting. Screen for a sec while I pick a different team to bring. And next we're going to bring... let's bring this team. Okay, seems to be the same team as last time. I think what I want is to just lead this, have this, and this. Alright, P2 and Primarina. Ram 2 gets off its download for a special attack boost. And I think I'm just going to try to double it. Got the body press into Porygon 2. Weather Ball comes out into Porygon 2. That much damage. Primarina goes for Moonblast, goes for Caladon. It's that much. Lots of stamina. Porygon 2, it just recovers. Now we could repeat that last turn. I feel pretty confident that we would be okay, but I'm going to take a risk, and I think Electro Shot the Porygon. Or we could... I think I'm gonna... Yeah, I think I'm going to double the Porygon 2 again. Alright, Primarina protects, which is good. Caladon's getting off Electro Shot. Electro Shot gets a critical hit against Porygon 2, but I don't think it matters because the Electro Shot and the Weather Ball would have picked off Porygon 2 anyways. Alright, Incineroar comes onto the field. And seeing as how Primarina is protected, I'm going to be aggressive and attack both slots even though one of them can get faked out. And Pelipper losing his Focus Sash would not be great, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. Our Caladon is going to be the one getting lynched. Oh yeah, defense boost because of it. Pelipper gets the Weather Ball into Incineroar. And that nearly takes it out, but it lives. Primarina goes for the haste. She's going to get rid of her defense boost. Two turns of rain left still. I think I feel pretty fine going for this and this. Primarina is pretty special bulky, so I expect it to live. But it'll still do a lot. Pelipper gets the Weather Ball to finish off Incineroar. Primarina goes for Moonblast, which our Caladon, bringing it down that low. Giving us a special attack drop, which counteracts our special attack boost that we got. And last but not least comes in Ursaluna. Let's do this. I see Primarina protect, which is good. I want to make a support cram to help stake out mons, get that stake out boost damage guaranteed. Oh, is it going to be trick eject button? So how are you going to activate the eject button if you're trying to use a stakeout mon? Then it wouldn't do double damage to the Pokemon switching in. This one gets off Bullet Punch, and that's going to pick up KO into Primarina. deflect. So I'm going to go for the side, which chaos grim snarl. Burn chip takes down our cylinder just a little bit more. And we should have a guaranteed endgame here. Not only because I think Scissor Bullet Punch will kick off Ursaluna, but Helper still has its Focus Sash intact. Ursaluna's gonna protect, then I'll just gain Burn Chip, so I'm not really sure what the point of that protect was, but sure. Mainly from a Trick, Eject Button, and Parting Shot Temporary. Ah, I see. Prankster Parting Shot to force them to switch. So you're gonna be tricking not an Eject Button then, and what's it called? The other one. The Eject Hack. And then Parting Shotting them. So, 2-turn setup. Alright, it all comes down to this next one, Tiger Gamer. Not gonna bother hiding screen because it seems like you're pretty convinced that you're gonna bring the team that you're gonna bring, and I'm gonna bring this one randomly. Alright, we have quite a few interesting mons. I think I should do this, this, and this. But it's a little fun experimental build to see how it works. Well, as long as you're having fun. That's all that matters. Is what most people would say. Not me. I don't say that at all. I just want to win. Winning is everything. If anyone tells you differently, they're lying. So this can go a few different ways, I think. I think they have to respect the Dozo swap in here. There are knots off into Burgerass. We're going to take some super effective damage, unfortunately. And they decide not to respect it. It's going to bring Burbana pretty low. Also lower our special attack. Cold Seed is going to do that much damage. Can we get all 5 and get a KO? Yes, we can. Okay. Better than nothing. Porygon 2 enters the field and gains a special attack boost. Arrow goes in a knockoff into Burgeraff. Burgeraff lives. Porygon 2 goes for Ice Beam. We're gonna have to look for psychic noise in the P2. We're going to get off the ice beam. Cinnamon goes for the knockoff. Now we're gonna form Dozo mode while that house glitches out in the background. We're gonna see those for Terra Blast. Just a bit of chip. Knock off into Dondozo, just a bit more chip. So Waterfall into Incineroar, and that's going to KO it. Round 2 is no longer prevented from healing. Now comes in Ursaluna. Ursaluna protects here, not wanting to take any damage. We're gonna see those for the recover. Or I get back a tiny smidgen of its health. Yeah, a critical hit order up into Forion 2. As Ursaluna gets its burn. Ursaluna puts the Sod into Dondozo, which does not KO. We're going to get Ice Beam into Dondozo, which does manage to KO. This dimension is returned to normal. Tatsugiri gets off Muddy Water, which does not manage to KO P2. Sod brings Tatsugiri down to 1 health. We're going to click Trick Room again. Down goes Tatsugiri. And there we go. Another loss for me. Which means that Tiger Gamer is allowed to pick a Pokemon. I'm back. Welcome back, Tiger Gamer. Which one are you looking to grab? We've got all these ones here, and then the two Ursalunas are here. From the looks of it, you don't actually own an Incineroar, so you could grab one of those. The Ursaluna, alright. One regular old Vivillon, that'll do. Oh, it doesn't... They changed the trade animation. It doesn't fly away anymore like it did before. Huh. Now it just zips away in your hand. I didn't know that. It's been so long since I've had to trade a Pokemon. Well, alright, that is peachy, because now... Send this Vivillon away, and I can put this Ursaluna right here. And now all of the Pokemon for Beat Me Take My Pokemon fit in one box. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Alright, but now... Link battle, double battle, and the floor will be open. I think that I played the team 3 times in the past. Helped a lot. That's true, probably. Got good experience battling. Was able to see out your end game. Oh, by the way, I've been experimenting with Sandforce Gastrodon, and it hits hard. Something nobody expects. I would say that is not what I expect when I hear Gastrodon. I think over 99% of the time, it's usually Storm Drain. So Sandforce, that's new. New and exciting. New exciting ground. But, you know, Jack plays, if you're still around, now would be the time. You just waited it out for like 30 minutes, then you would have gotten to battle right now. Hi, Sua, how you doing? Still making mods, but I'll get a team ready after I make a few more. Fair enough, fair enough. Let me check my Pokemon Go account to see if I caught 15 mons today or not. Ooh, it's currently raining, so I'm getting more water types from the water event. Alright, one more try, and then I'm gonna check out what encounters I have, or what outbreaks I have today. Alright, what do I have? Malekid, which I already have / don't need. I actually do need you. I always keep putting off Tentacruel ever more so. But I'm gonna skip it again today. I have those. Rufflet would be nice for Hisui and Braviary, but I already have enough Rufflets. Ooh, Jolteon is one you don't get to see too often, even though I already have one of those. Is it just the Cramorant and the Libic? Yes. Alright, I might have to go fight those Tentacruels. I'll get a team built up here soon since no battles have happened again. Yeah, we're just in a slow bit. Nothing wrong with it though. I like to sit on this island and then yell at my Pokemon to attack the Tentacruel. The answer is no. No, I can't. Goldango can take these. Well, I guess I gotta name you. This is an important Goldango, so I need to name it. So I need to name it Johnny Cash, but in a new way. So henceforth, your name will be. Johnny? It's kind of long. Johnny... John... I guess it's Jonkney, isn't it? Hold on. Johnny. Yeah, we'll go with that. Johnny Cash. That's 15. Hi, Amelia, get out of here. Nobody's gonna buy anything that you're selling. Just take your little scam and get out. Why do you keep coming back? I'm gonna have to do an actual YouTuber thing, and I think I'm just gonna have to ban this person. Go ahead, give me the spiel. You work for other streamers. You have a website. You sell AI-generated images. Oh, that's a lot of tentacle. For like $200 for a package over Cash App. Amelia has returned again, it appears. Oh, for the 4th time. Yeah, why can't there be at least any smart scammers? Why are they all... Well, I guess... kind of in the name, isn't it? If they were smart, then they would have actual jobs. I think that was 25. Oh, I thought that was a Sharpedo for a second. I was like, what? That Pokemon is not in this game. The way Luminion kind of angled itself there. Looked like Sharpedo. But then seeing the new trade evolution, that for a half second there, I was like, what if they just secretly added in like one Pokemon evolutionary line just to kind of like mess with people? That would be really funny. And then like the next regulation, Reg J is just that they add in Sharpedo, no other changes. That would be really funny. I already lost count. I was making that funny Sharpedo joke. The Sharpedo caught me gravely off guard. It'd be funny to have an unattainable mod. Yeah, like a Sharpedo that pops up once and then like max speed runs away from you as soon as you see it. Kind of like they do in Sword and Shield, but just like instead of being towards you, it's away from you. That would be hilarious. torpedo baited my existence in Sword and Shield. They were fast. They were also like bulls. Like, as long as you knew how to, like, turn away from them right at the last moment, they could not get you. And I thought that was the really funny part. Okay, it's gotta be at least 60 by now. I am waiting for the little thing that comes up in the top right corner that's like, the outbreak is getting kind of low, because usually that's like 55 or so. I'm not sure if I missed it or not. There's one for like, there's like 30 that you've defeated or so, and there's one for like 55. But it's not exact. It's just around there. Alright, that should... Giant Castle should be enough. The thing popped up? Yeah. They were as fast as they were in the overworld. In battle, nothing outspeeds them. True that, true that. Alright, we need a purple and green one. Gotta look under the water too, just in case. Still a good number of them spawning, which is good. It shouldn't take too long. As long as we have decent luck. It does kind of stay. I might go to the cliff over there and then just do the water trick. Alright, now you are green. Oh, what do you mean there's quite not enough space? It's just a tree. Alright, now I should be... Good to glance around. Ooh, might be lagging a bit. Oh, but I think it was because the Switch itself was lagging. Just a tad bit. Oh wait, I didn't get far enough away. Usually when I do that, it's like on the cliffs of Aldea, that it's like far enough away from the actual Pokemon so that when I exit the water, the actual Pokemon themselves despawn. But up here I need to actually set the picnic again, because vertically we're not that far away from them. Aw, that Tentacruel's so small. Look at the little guy. I wish he was shiny. I would have taken him home happily. And since it's a physical attacker, I might have even used it in the future. These clear body water types are a thing we do not have very many of. Normally Crab would be here, but I think he fell asleep due to time zones. I mean, fair enough. Oh, we're lagging like a ton. Okay, we'll see if that helps. I could just stand up here. Not that may spawn though. If I stand up here and then some will also spawn behind. Yeah, let's just jump in. Let's just jump right into it. First off in the news. The Lapras population is up 50% in the last decade. Now this is notable because there was one person who spent a lot of time breeding Laprases and then releasing them into the wild looking for a shiny one. As messed up as this may seem, it did increase the Lapras population. We don't know what this means for the Pokemon that have bad shiny forms. They may be doomed to extinction if their population gets too low. Oh, I thought that Cottony was orange for a second, but I don't know why. Switch 2 is amazing for Scarlet and Violet shiny hunting on water since no frame drops, really? Yeah, that Switch 2 looks pretty good. I'm willing to bet that by this time next year I will have a Switch 2, just because I think... How many days is it? 4 days. In 4 days, we're gonna have the July 22nd Pokemon Presents, and I think it is highly, highly likely that on that day they're going to announce Pokemon Generation 10, and it will be a Switch 2 exclusive. Because normally they give us a year. Like Scarlet and Violet, they gave us a little bit less than a year. But with Legends ZA, they gave us info nearly a year and a half ago about Legends ZA and when it would be releasing. And when it does release, it will have been a year and a half. So if they were going to release Pokemon Legends Pokemon Gen 10 in 2026 holiday season, 1.5 years would be pretty conveniently at the end of July here. Popular, what are you doing there? And they also obviously want people to buy Switch 2s in advance so that they can play the Switch 2 games. I guess this might be my last live stream until the Pokemon Presents. Well, no, that's a lie. There's gonna be one on Sunday because Kamo raids are gonna disappear on Sunday. I almost couldn't tell that was an Exeggutor for a sec. I was like, that country looks a little different. Come on, just show me the green one. Team ready? Alright. Let's do Pokeportal. Let's do Link Battle. We'll try manual cooling again. You know what, my AC is kind of loud, but I think I'm going to turn it on, because it is getting pretty hot in here, honestly. Maybe you'll be able to hear it, maybe you can't. I haven't really tested it. I think people can hear the AC now. Alright, here's a battle. Let's do official rules 1. And let's do... let's do this team randomly. Okay. This is the sand team. There's no doubting that. Oh, but Heatran is, unfortunately a static Pokemon. So this will not count for Isaiah. As they're currently banned from Wheezing Statics and Torkoal. But, just for fun, we'll bring you, and who? It's you. Oh, use Heatran, and then I completely forgot about that. No worries, no worries. They're gonna be fighting me down to 5 Mon. Yeah, at 5 Mons. Ranchar, Sandstream. So both of these can't terrestrialize, and one of them is weak to both, and one of them is quad weak to one attack. So I think it would make a lot of sense here to Bullet Seed one slot, and then Water, and then bring it Ursula now. We're gonna see a terrestrialization and on Gastrodon into the Steel Type. Ranchar is going to fling its Big Nugget into Luna, doing about half damage. Bullet Seed connects to Gastrodon, but since it is now Steel Type, it will not be doing very much damage. Steel Terra Blast coming out from Gastrodon into the Bonnet, does that much damage. Gastrodon loses some HP because it is the Life Orb set. Ursulin is burned by the Flame Orb. Gastrodon goes for the Protect here. Tyranitar goes for the Rock Slide. Brute Bonnet manages to dodge, but unfortunately he's for the Gastrodon, so we don't get a hit there. Bonnet is buffeted by Sandstorm. Rock Slides. Gastrodon Terra Blast into Brute Bonnet. Ursulin gets off the Earthquake. Brute Bonnet gets Protect from. Earthquake manages to KO both Pokemon on the opponent's side. Takes some more Sand Chip. Ursulin takes Burn Chip. In comes Dugtrio. And Excadrill. Brute gets Sucker Punch off into Excadrill. Dugtrio goes to the Iron Head into Luna, which gets a KO. Excadrill also goes for the Iron Head, also picks up the KO. Now we're gonna form Big Dozo mode. I guess I should double. No, Brute Bonnet had protected last turn. It could have protected with Ursulin though, and then we'd be in pretty much the same outcome. But Sandstorm would be gone. And also Waterfalls into Excadrill, being faster than Excadrill, which is not something I expected. Dugtrio goes for the Stone Edge and gets it, but it is not a stab move. I mean, I guess I just Waterfall since I'm faster than Dugtrio. I might as well try and get the flint. Or just KO in one hit because it's not Focus Sash. Would have been Excadrill who's the Sash? Not sure, not sure. I'm also battling for fun anyways. Well, that's great. No worries then. Here's my Sand Force shenanigans went down. Yeah, if Gastrodon was Sand Force, I mean, I played around it like I could have been Storm Drain anyways, because a next level tactic is to be Storm Drain anyways and just lie about it, but It really felt like the Sand Force didn't do that much, even though you used the Steel type move, which aligns with your Stand Force. I thought it would do more like 70%, but it only did like 45 to group on it. I'm just gonna pick this team randomly. I don't know how I wandered over to this team, but we're gonna pick it. Okay. There is a good number of steel types and a dark type, which is preventing me from bringing... And a Terra steel type, as we saw in the last battle. What the heck? Oh. I definitely think I need this Pokemon. These Pokemon are hard to bring, though. Against a team with 3 ground types and a rock type. So what if I instead did that? It does insane earth power. I mean, that's another great move to use with your Sand Force. How is strongest one on Gastrodon? Because it's not like you have a Hyper Beam equivalent for ground, steel, or rock. No Meteor Beam on Gastrodon. Is there a Sand Force Meteor Beam Pokemon? I feel like we would know if there was. Gastrodon and Klefki. I don't like this key. I want it to be gone. Key be gone. Klefki gets up the Sandstorm. Or make it Shadow Ball into Klefki. Does that much. Hamon gets Aura Sphere into Klefki. Does that much. Picking up KO. Now Gastron does the Earth Power into Klefki, which does that much. Gastron loses some HP. Is evaded by his damage. Kamo-O being Overcoat comes up for the first... not for the first time, but for... Well, no. Correct sentence. Kamo-O being Overcoat comes up for the first time in like 200 battles, which is awesome. We're about to make it uncome up, though. As I'm going to try and predict a Sucker Punch from the Duck Trio. Okay, it went for Iron Head, so that's fine. Take some Rocky Helmet damage. Force Sphere. And now what does Gastrodon do? That's for Earth Power and Combo. Gastrodon loses some HP. Kamo gets to regain some HP. And who do you have left? Is Excadrill, okay. I mean, it would make a lot of sense to terrestrialize Excadrill here, right? But do they terrestrialize it into a ghost? Or into something else? I think Clang Scales is a pretty safe option, so I'm gonna go for that. Okay, Excadrill actually protects on this turn. That is Dark Call. Scales does damage to Gastrodon, but I have a feeling Gastrodon probably has Recover. Gastrodon tries to pick off Torkoal. Tomo gets a little bit of leftovers, but now has a lower defense. We're gonna bring in Fluttermane here. Should, waste time proccing photosynthesis. Bring in Exeggutor. Gastrodon goes for Protect here. And Excadrill goes for Earthquake. Okay. I need to bring Tomo back to the field. I threaten this slot with Giga Drain and Aura Sphere. Gastrodon Terastallize into Steel. Exeggutor gets Giga Drain into Excadrill, doing a little bit less than half. But healing up to full. Tomo gets off the Aura Sphere into Gastrodon. Goes for the Rock Blast, revealing that it might actually be loaded dice. Now we can do this, and we can do this. Aura Sphere is going to take down Excadrill. So, the opponent might have lost, but they did it in a way that caused them to not have to reveal as much information. So if this was like the first battle of the set, well, I guess, forget what I was saying actually. If we do 2 battles and I just know that Gastrodon is Terra Steel in between sets, it doesn't really change anything because at that point I've gotten 2 victories. But they've risked less information in the second battle, so if they did win the second battle, then they can go into the third battle better. Oh, we haven't used this team yet today. Let's use this team. Klefki was my hidden weather setter. I kind of figured as much. You tend to see a lot of either screens or weather Klefkis. It's just good, solid prankster support. So, what does this team do to this team? I hate the idea of leading into Hatterene, but getting up the Trick Room is really, really handy. Getting Iron Balled into Indeedee with the Fling, though, is not as handy. That's for sure. If I did that. This is a real pick your poison kind of last team member. Let's do that. Probably against my better judgment, but let's do it. Actually, I think Arcanine should never come to this battle, even though it gives me the initial Intimidate. Like one of the few two prankster sandstorm setters. That makes sense, that makes sense. Tyranitar flings into Rillaboom here. Grimmer gets off Hyper Voice, does get to both. Gastron gets Earth Power into Arena. That does a pretty good amount. Everybody takes sand damage except for the non-sand mons, and then everybody gets grassy terrain, revealing the speed order. So if I do this and then this, Hyper Voice will become single target if I KO Tyranitar. Tyranitar could just protect. I don't really see a reason to protect. I think I'm going to fake out and let's just do this. There's the translation from the opponent on Tyranitar into Dart. And Gastrodon is going to be the one to protect. Rillaboom gets a Wood Hammer into Tyranitar, and that's going to take it out. Tyranitar tries to get a Hyper Voice but can't. Rillaboom is buffeted, Marina is buffeted. In comes Dugtrio. I think my best move is just to attack with both. Because Dugtrio can't KO both, especially since we're on grassy terrain. Gastrodon's going to leave. Excadrill is going to enter. Dugtrio Iron Heads into Rillaboom, knocking it out. Arena gets off Hyper Voice, which KOs both. Neither of those Pokemon were Focus Sash. I'm gonna make a guess, and I'm gonna say that Dugtrio was Choice Band, and Excadrill was Loaded Dice because of the Rock Blast. Oh, what to do? I think that what I do is I click this, and I click this.
kind of expected a Grassy Glide, won't lie. I thought about it, but then I was like, there's so many Pokemon that could swap in on the Grassy Glide, and if Tyranitar attacks Primarina, then it probably KOs Primarina. So I needed, because I learned the speed order of Rillaboom, Tyranitar, Primarina, Gastrodon from the previous Sand Chip, or from the previous Grassy terrain, I knew, I was pretty sure I needed Rillaboom to attack into Tyranitar there. And then the only way that turn could go really badly for me, attacking into Tyranitar, is if Tyranitar protects and then Gastrodon attacks, because since Tyranitar didn't get KO'd, Hyper Voice would not be, or would be the spread damage, and we saw how much the spread damage did in the previous turn where Gastrodon previously survived it pretty comfortably. But yeah, GG's. Good stuff, good stuff. Hopefully in Gen 10 we get another Fire Steel type. That's still something that amazes me. Like, Fire Steel seems like such an easy type. It surprises me that Heatran is still the only Fire Steel type. Maybe the starter in Gen 10 will be a Fire Steel type. We haven't had a Steel type since Empoleon? We haven't had a Grass Steel starter, because there is no Grass Steel type in this game, Rip for Hawthorne. And we haven't had a Fire Steel starter. So yeah, the last one would have been Empoleon. By the way, there's like Probopass gets Meteor Beam and Steel Beam and Sand Force. Ah. The more you know. Guess seeing as it's Probopass, that's probably why we don't see it very often, but that is kind of neat. What is Probopass's special attack stat, though? It's probably, you know, I was thinking that it was probably like a physical attacker, but I'm only thinking that because body press. Wait, what? Why didn't I know? There we go. That was another thing I was saying not that long ago during 128 teams, is that if we get like a really good plus or minus Pokemon in Generation 10, I feel like the archetype is getting pretty close to being good. Just give me a plus or minus Pokemon that's not an electric or steel type. Or a steel type that has another good defensive typing. It has decent special attacks. Sadly, we get +1 from Power Meteor Beam. I get access to Stab, Steel Beam, and Ground Terra Earth Power. That would be neat. Somebody crazier than me can make it work, probably. Meteor Beam, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, and then just be in Trick Room, and you're like in a pretty good spot, kind of. You get baked out and cry, but like, doesn't everybody? One fighting move instantly shuts down Probopass or ground moves and is 4 times weakness. Yeah, Probopass is a high risk, low reward Pokemon, to say the least. And it's gonna be really, really hard to justify not having Sturdy for that reason. Well, who knows? Maybe the ground types and the fighting types will go down for whatever reason in next gen. Nidoking will probably be in the base game, which immediately shuts down any hope of Probopass doing anything. Because if Nidoking is in base game, it will probably be everywhere, because Nidoking is so strong. And especially for a while that it runs unchecked by legendary Pokemon. Unless there's an expanding force user in base game, we're assuming non-terrestrialization for Generation 10, and then whatever mechanic they invent is, like, not that crazy. Like, it doesn't change the game too drastically. Because ways that... Okay, wait, we're gonna do a mini ranking right now. Mini ranking for ways that mechanics change the game. Dynamax, obviously S tier. It adds so much complexity to the game. Or terrestrialization. Terrestrialization, S tier. Adds so much complexity to the game. Not just because you can use it defensively, but also offensively, but also using it to change into other types that have inherent properties, like being a grass type to be immune to Spore, or being a ghost type to be immune to Fake Out, or changing to a fairy type, or a steel type, or a water type for defensively, or changing to a fire type, or a rock type, or a ground type offensively. There's just so many levels to it, and like changing to a single type versus 2 types, which means that types that are really good at hitting one type. I could go on and on about how complex terrestrialization is. And then right under that, at A rank, I think is Dynamax. Because Dynamax it kind of shifts what strategies can be run, because like Colossal I think is the poster child for Dynamax, and Gigantamax being added in there for changing, like just proccing a weakness policy and then trying to get off as much damage as possible, but also being really good with your redirectors to redirect Dynamax moves. Still great. I still think doubles Dynamax is great. Not so much singles. I think singles is kind of pointless for Dynamax as a mechanic. Doubles Dynamax, though, like a lot. And then maybe also on A tier we have Megas, depending on the Mega. We're going to put Megas that have their own unique ability in A rank for complexity of changing the game, because that just changes how the Pokemon works. And then in B rank, Z moves and Megas that just get aerially. Looking at use elements, you don't add any complexity to the game at all. But I think they're going to add another B rank mechanic in the next game. Don't know what it is, but I think it's going to be B rank. What are we talking about? Oh, right, Nidoking. Yeah, if Nidoking is in base game and can click Earth Power Life Orb Sheer Force into things. It's gonna be great. Arcalon scares me because Stalwart on that would be a menace in Dynamax formats. That is so true. Stalwart being able to ignore the tanky redirector would be really handy. Especially if you like, because weather is just so much more prominent because you just use a max move to set your weather. You just have to like bring your weather setter and then click your water type move and then get an electro shot in that rain that you created. Lights out. What are you gonna do now? I guess Arcalon just breaks Torn Ogre. There's nothing that Torn Ogre can do for Arcalon. I guess that's what champion. Well, I guess we can maybe see it in Champions, depending on what formats are going to be available in Champions. They've already at least teased Terrestrialization and Mega Evolution. I don't think Dynamax and Z moves would be that far behind. Probably not at first, definitely, but I think they'll come around at some point. I guess that's another thing to look forward to on the presents in 4 days, is Champions getting talked about more. They might give us a release date, depending on when it comes out. My favorite to punish Kelly Ice is Steely Spirit Berserker, Helping Hand, and Flash Cannon secures the kill while ignoring DD. I can see that. That sounds pretty neat. There's like a steel type that's not in this game that I feel like would really benefit from Steely Spirit, but I can't remember who. Oh, Aegislash. Aegislash is a Pokemon that can exist in the future. And it could be Iron Head or Flash Cannon. Who knows? And with the ability to terrestrialize, forget about it, man. You're never going to be able to pin down Aegislash. Brian, why did you start going down the mountain? The cliff face. I wish more stuff got Stalwart, yeah. There's always Propeller Tail. Maybe there's a Pokemon we haven't seen for a bit that they'll buff by giving Stalwart. Like, I don't even know. What is the definition of the word stalwart? Is it just like... Is it just like extreme focus? Even an item to ignore redirection, because redirection is so overwhelmingly common lately. I think an item is not a good idea, because then what happens is, like, it becomes way too niche, and it just doesn't get used, and it just doesn't really fit. And the Pokemon, like... I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Like the opportunity cost of not using a clear amulet or a covert cloak just to ignore your redirection is really high, because then you can just have spread attackers. And that's the big thing, is that you can't, like, follow me in White Guard, because then you don't gain any momentum. So it depends on the quality of your spread attackers, how effective that item is. It's also why... What is it? An item... There was another ability as an item that I was like, that doesn't really make sense. Because the opportunity cost would be so high. And I think it... What was it? It was another ability as an item. It was something to do directly with... Oh! Shell armor. Shell armor as an item. An item that makes it so that you can't get critical hit. I think that item also doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because the opportunity cost is just so high. Where, like, if Urshifu is not in your format, that item is never getting used. And then even if you do have Urshifu in your format, that item is just getting knocked off, and then Urshifu is critting you anyways. Like, that's just the line. And all the while you have this item, you're getting intimidated, you're getting faked out, you're getting put to sleep. So what I really wish they would do... Like, taunt still exists. I think Inteleon's Snipe Shot is a good middle ground. Because it is a single move that has an effect that ignores redirection. I think I would like 2 more of those types of moves in the next game that more Pokemon get. And then like another Stalwart or Propeller Talmon. I think that would be good too. Healthy for the format. But again, I think it all really just depends on who your spread attackers are. Because if Galarian Moltres isn't in the game, then you just don't get Fiery Wrath. And then your best spread dark move is Snarl for special attackers, and then Brutal Swing for dark attackers. Get what I mean? Let me read chat once I actually open this picture. Because both Goggles is helpful for Rage Powder and Sleep Powder moves. It sacrifices an item slot though. Yeah, just even moves that ignore redirection would be fun. Yeah, I'm a big proponent for the moves. Give me moves like Snipe Shot that just ignore the redirection. And then let me play around that. Also bring back Lucky Chant. Lucky Chant went away. And since Urshifu, and also, I guess, by a smaller extent, screw out a Flower Trick. Was there another critting move that they introduced lately? Frost Breath, Wicked Blow, Surging Strikes, Flower Trick, and there's like another pretty prominent one, isn't there? Oh, what's it called? Not Storm Throw. Is it Storm Throw? I think I'm thinking it's Storm Throw. Put Storm Throw on some more Pokemon. That way we can ignore Intimidate easier. The fact that only Throw and Pinsir have Storm Throw, or at least I think they do. I haven't looked at Storm Throw in a long time. But the fact that those are the two only Pokemon that have Storm Throw is a crime. A negative priority move that always crits, but is like 70 or 80 base power versus heckin' Urshifu that can 3-hit you through your sash. The power creep is insane. Just give more Pokemon Storm Throw. Storm Throw is very obviously not the problem here. And then give more anti-crit moves like Lucky Chant. Give me a screen that prevents critting. Actually, that might be a bit much. Because Light Screen, Reflect, and then anti-crit screen. That is a tanky nightmare for singles that I don't want to deal with. Like, there has to be a trade-off for using item at times. Example, using item to ignore redirection. Then you're being bullied by Spore, Fake Out, and stat lowering moves. Yeah, exactly. Like, say there was an item for every ability in the game. It would be really, really hard to pick items. Whereas I feel like this game had a really good... more often than not. Like, every item in this game felt worthwhile to some extent. Some were obviously better, because moves like Fake Out exist, so Covert Cloak and Clear Amulet kind of have to be on everything. But Loaded Dice, in formats where you don't have a broken Intimidate Mon, was really good. Booster Energy is still really good on Pokemon like Fluttermane for specifically increasing your speed. But also, Attack Booster Iron Hands existed. And Life Orb Clear Amulet was a very real trade-off that would change how you played. And not a lot of Pokemon could really afford to run Citrus Berries that often. Actually, no, I take that back. A lot of Pokemon could afford to run berries. Like, even Protective Pads felt like it saw its time. Because of specifically Pokemon like Urshifu, but... Punching Glove was useful for a bit on like Annihilate with Drain Punch and Rage Fist. And I guess they're all... No, even Binding Band. I think saw some use on like Fire Spin Dragonite. Kinda in the middle of one of the regulations, maybe Reg C, in order to get specifically Chen Pao, I think. I would wish they nerfed Urshifu in a sense. Like, example, its ability to go through Protect, be like Dynamax going through Protect, reduce damage. Yeah. Yeah. Because something can go through Protect and have little counterplay as an ability. Yeah, I think what they should do is... Alright, here's how I fix Urshifu. Me, specifically. Talking directly to Nintendo here. What you do is that you nerf Urshifu's ability to begin with, to make it... Starting with half. We're going to start with halving the damage when it attacks into a Protect. But we're also going to make it so that some abilities cannot be attacked through their Protect. Kind of like how Justified and Inner Focus are just inherently immune to Intimidate. Some abilities are going to be inherently immune to being attacked through a Protect, which includes things like Feint, Mighty Cleave, Hyper Drill, and Unseen Fist. And probably another one that I'm missing somewhere along the line. But and I think the best way to do it would be abilities based on armor, or just have armor in the name, cannot have their Protect bypassed. So like, weak armor, what's the one that doesn't allow you to get frozen? Magma armor? That cargo can now safely protect in front of the surging strikes. Armor Tail is kind of one. I don't like the fact that Armor Tail becomes different than Dazzling, or like it gets a buff. I would much prefer that they like kind of change the name of Armor Tail to something else, but I mean, sure. Burger F can now protect in front of Wicked Blow. And it's not like it's a direct upgrade to the other abilities, because you could, like, activate your... Like, you could activate your own weakness policy through Protect with, like, Serena or Bruxish. Whereas with Burger F, you couldn't. So it's not technically a direct upgrade, but it's still, like, a big buff to give a Pokemon that still had one of the best abilities in the game for doubles, because Fake Out is so good. We're making Fake Out +2 priority in this new world, by the way. I'm tired of it being +3. It needs to be +2. Rage Powder, Extreme Speed, First Impression, all those things now have the ability to outspeed it. Upper Hand can actually always flinch it now. Don't have the EV for that either. There's been a lot of moves go through Protect this generation. Yeah. None of them were even that crazy, though. Like, Hyper Drill to Dunsparce. You really didn't see that much play. Mighty Cleave, Iron Boulder. Probably didn't see that much play just because all the other Paradoxes were that much better. And also being Rock Psychic is, like, not that great. Sorry, Iron Boulder. Feint? I really don't know why we haven't seen that many Feint users. I think we saw it on Mousehold on some Annihilate teams. Feint feels really good, though, because it's just like a nice little priority move that allows you to always land your hits into things, and your opponent can never safely protect in front of you. But maybe it's just because there's so many Fake Out mons that there's already so many anti-priority in the game. Or at least you have to use anti-priority. So that's why we don't see very many Feint mons. Oh, Phantom Force, that's another important one. Phantom Force breaks through Protect. It doesn't just bypass it, it breaks it. And these tentacles really don't want to be green, huh? Oh, I ran into one. I'm sad upper hand can't stop fake out. Yeah, it feels like it is a move that was directly introduced to stop specifically Incineroar from using fake out all of the time. And it just can't do it consistently. It's just not consistent enough to run on like any Pokemon. Especially since it was the move introduced like at Worlds. To be like, this move is going to be great. We're going to have Raging Bolt with Thunderclap, and we're going to have Upper Hand, and it's going to solve all of the problems that everybody has with Fake Out. And it did not. It did not do that. It did not even come close. Fighting Psychic would be good on Iron Boulder, unironically, since neutral to dark. Yeah. I mean, Gallade definitely got a lot of use this generation because they changed its ability to sharpness. Going back around to more Pokemon getting Stalwart. We didn't have sharpness in Generation 8 though, but we've had Stalwart for a while now. And another thing. You know what? While we're putting things on the pile that I want changed, I want Cast Form to have priority on weather setting moves. And give it its desert form. Its sand form. It deserves it. Cast Form has had to put up with a lot of weather crud over the years. Despite being the weather Pokemon. And it has an ability specifically designed around the weather. I think Cast Form should be a little bit more useful in Pokemon battles as a support Pokemon by being able to set priority weather moves. Just make it a Comfey, but only for the weather, not for the healing things. Because that's where Cast Form can sit. And while we're on the subject, I can't think of anything, actually. I know there's a lot of things that I would change, but I can't think of anything else. Right now, at least. I was hoping I would think of something while I was beginning the start of the outrageous rant, but I could not think of something. Oh, and another thing. Introduce a Bug-type move that if an opponent Pokemon has already been hit by a Bug-type move, that Bug-type move then guarantees a critical hit. It's time to buff the Bug-type. None of this useless Skitter Smack. We're getting some good actual moves that combo well. Give me Assurance, but a Bug-type move that crits instead of doubling power. And then Pokemon like Beedrill with Sniper can benefit from it because it powers up the crit. And we've got good debuffing moves so that the bug types can survive the hit, like Struggle Bug and Skitter Smack and Lunge and stuff. Or First Impression for the priority. Let me follow up with another bug type attack. And another thing that we're throwing onto the pile. I want a poison type move that guarantees super effective damage against a grass type, no matter what their secondary type is. Which means that grass poison types would be weak to this move. Grass steel types would be weak to it. Grass rock types would be weak to it. Because it's time we take Amoonguss down a little peg. Because it's supposed to have all these weaknesses, but they're being cancelled out by its amazing poison typing. It's time we bring the poison type back. Give poison types kind of freeze dry. Cast form the Mon to be weather based, doesn't have priority weather. That's what I'm saying. Just give cast form +3 on Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Snowscape, and Sandstorm. Even if it doesn't have a Sandstorm form, I'm fine with that. Just let it do the priority Sandstorm. He's the weather guy. It's his thing. He can, if terrestrialization is in the game, he can terrestrialize in a rock and tough it out. That would actually be a really funny 7-star Terra raid if it was cast form, Terra Rock, and then it went for Rock Wither Ball all over the place. Oh, cast form? That's kind of weird, actually, because is there any Pokemon that can change its form mid-battle, but also change type? Because I don't think we have one of those in this game that can change its form mid-battle. So cast form with terrestrialization, I guess it would still stay terrestrialized, but its base type underneath the terrestrialization would not change. Or would it? I don't know. I guess it would. But terrestrialization doesn't allow you to change. I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing to think about. Maybe for another day. Need Frostbite back. I'm tired of no counterplay to special mons. I'm not entirely convinced I want the freeze to change to just special burn, because I think the two things in the game are like Will-O-Wisp for physical attackers and Assault Vest for special attackers. Because that's why we don't have a physical Assault Vest. It's because burn and Assault Vest kind of trade off in like a satisfying enough way. And also there's like no Intimidate, or there's no special attack Intimidate, which I really hope that there never is one. I do think freeze needs to be changed though, I just don't know how I would change it. Closest we got is like Terapagos, but it's changing match type ups. Yeah, that's kind of true. Like it's like Terapagos stays a normal type though. It's just that its stellar type is, or its Terra type is stellar. Because Terapagos doesn't get like the underlying stab on Terra Starstorm whenever it terrestrializes. It just gets the Terra boost. Oh, I guess there's Meloetta. Meloetta changes forms whenever it uses Revelation Dance. Or not Revelation Dance, the other one. Recalculation Dance. Recorial Dance? What? It's... Resonance... What is it? It's... Revelation Dance is Oricorio's move, but I can't think of what Meloetta has. Relic Song, that's what it is. I know somebody typed it before I had the chance to say it, but I figured it out. Once I got off the dance part, I could figure it out. So Meloetta could change forms to a different type whenever it's terrestrialized. Special Intimidate would be amazing, unironically. I would hate it. I would hate it immediately. Like, great for Defiant Mons, sure, and like also competitive Mons technically, but I would hate it. Somebody would lead Incineroar and that Pokemon, and then click Parting Shot into you. And if your name isn't like Koraidon or like a very big hitter, then you're just not doing anything for the turn. But Miraidon is obviously still a problem. I think Miraidon needs something. And I think the answer is just not terrestrialization. So that it can still be hit on its dragon side very easily. And also, like, clicking Terra Electric. Should just not exist. Like, Miraidon doesn't really like any of the past mechanics except for terrestrialization. Because it obviously doesn't have a Mega. So Megas would mean that the Mega would power creep it a little bit. The only Mega, I guess, that could take Miraidon would be... Oh, I guess it would be like... no, not Mawile. Who's fast enough to... I guess like Lucario? Because it just Draco's Groudon, it Electro Drifts Kyogre, and Rayquaza can keep up with it, because it's Mega Rayquaza. But still, Mega Rayquaza still only has, like, single target moves. So you just put a Redirector next to Miraidon. Although Xerneas, ironically, would have kept it in check as Geomancy. Yeah, Xerneas is... Yeah, Xerneas is a really good check. Also, just another terrain setter. We didn't have enough terrain setters in this generation. And that's really why Miraidon is so good. Because realistically, your terrain setters are Rillaboom, Indeedee, Miraidon. That's it. No Tapus. And Weezing is just always going to be neutralizing gas. There's no reason to not be neutralizing gas. And then the only, like, realistically good enough Prankster Misty Terrain Mon was, like, Grim Snarl for the longest time. And then we got the keys. Or did we always have the keys? When did we get... Did we always have the keys? Maybe we always had the keys. And the keys could click Misty Terrain. Oh, and Arbalva. Arbalva also exists, but does not do enough to counter Miraidon. And of course Pincurchin, but you're never you like, oh, Pincurchin. Nice. Put that on the team. Because they took away Rising Voltage except for what's his face? Raging Bull. Specifically because Miraidon was gonna be strong. And Misty Explosion isn't worth using as a terrain move. For the one mon that gets to set it up and then go boom. Oh, and then your things for clearing the terrain is like Ice Spinner. Which so few Pokemon can afford to run, except for like Shenpao. But Shenpao also speed ties Miraidon, so you can't do anything. And the only way to be faster is like Titan with Slush Rush, so you have to bring a second Ice type. And that's already committing like a lot. Next generation, though, I think Miraidon is probably going to fall off like Zacian. I think there's going to be the Tapu's back in the game, which immediately threaten it a lot, because it doesn't get its terrain all the time like it is used to. And then some kind of inherent nerf to Miraidon. Would they lower the base power of Electro Drift? I feel like 95 doesn't fix that much, but... yeah, no, they probably don't lower the base power of Electro Drift. All Miraidon needs is Electro Drift and Draco Meteor to top the charts, and I don't see them taking those two things away anytime soon. Because in a non-terrestrial format, it probably doesn't need Dazzling Gleam, because it only used the Dazzling Gleam really because it wanted to Terra Fairy, or to hit other Pokemon that terrestrialize into resisting it. Ironically, the Tapus, if they were in this game, it would be a good check. Yeah, the Tapus would be really good. Tapu Bulu would actually see a lot of play. Well, maybe not. It's still Koraidon, and Koraidon clicks Flare Blitz into it, and it dies. There's no, like, Naganadel. There's no, like, prominent poison type, except for, like, Amogus. There's another poison type I'm not thinking of. Ah, well, there was Sneasler for a bit. That doesn't really count for the format we're theorizing about. Rising Voltage also got changed to single target. No, Rising Voltage was always single target. It's just expanding force is double target. Rising voltage is just that it deals double damage if you used it while on a terrain. Or while on electric terrain. And it also gave you an inherent boost because it's an electric type move. I think it's the fact it gets stab and terrain boost with Terra. Yeah, that's the big thing. Terra boost is just so important on Miraidon. Kababula needs one buff, Grassy Glide. I could see it. I don't think it would be the craziest thing in the world. Also, hello, John Pika, how you doing? If you want to battle, just let me know. I am just killing time right now. Hoping one of these tentacruels is green. I'm gonna defeat a few more of these tentacruels just in case I'm not over. Pokemon exactly. Good, how are you? I'm just gonna watch, got home, and super sleepy. Fair enough, fair enough. We're probably only gonna go for not that much longer. I kinda just want to see if I can get the Tentacruel, and then since there's not anybody looking to battle, I'll end things there. But I was enjoying just rambling about random changes to Pokemon battling. Ooh, okay, I remembered a big thing. Actual biggest change, outside of like just changing something that already exists, for something new to be introduced, I want some new categories for move, like how wind was introduced in this game as a category for things like wind power and wind, not wind right. What's it called? Wind rider. I was thinking wind chaser. I want Moon and Sun to have their own categories. So there would be like a rework I thought about for Lunatone and Solrock to make them more unique is that they get Power Spot, but for just Moon and Sun moves. So you could have like Lunatone and Lunala with Moongeist Beam and Moonblast. That could be neat. And then like Solrock for Solgaleo with Morning Sun and not Sunseer Smash. What's Solgaleo's actual move called? Sunsteel Strike. And then I also want food moves to be a category, so that we can get a Pokemon that boosts just like the power of food moves. So like Alchemy's Decorate now puts a +3 and +3 on something whenever a Pokemon that like boosts food moves is on the field, and then Grab Apple gets a buff. What are some other food moves? There's not a banana attack, is there? I'm pretty sure there's not. What's other food Pokemon? Vanillix? Vanillix doesn't have a food move. Do I have a food Pokemon on me? You can eat the flowers. But I want more categories of moves, so that there are more team archetypes around those kind of things. Ursaluna checks Miraidon and Cali Shadow, but Koraidon and Cali Ice then bully it. Yeah. That's the trade-off. I mean, even Miraidon can stand up to Ursaluna as long as it's not in Trick Room, because you click the Draco Meteor, and you do so much. What's the type that, like, absolutely... Oh, Ground Fairy. We don't have a Ground Fairy type. We need one of those. Ground Fairy type gets introduced to the game, and Miraidon goes down in usage. I think it's extremely, extremely likely that in the next game, for Gen 10, there will be a Ground Fairy type. How much time do I have left in the day? Quite a bit. My Switch is just inches away, but I'm so tired. I want Gen 3 to include Gastrodon this time. I don't know what that means. Does that imply that we get Generation 3 remakes of, like, Orez? And then Gastrodon is just chilling in, like, Route 4. Because I think that's a very different thing. Not a single one of these tentacles has decided to be green, huh? I thought we were talking about what changes we would want from previous generations. I mean, sure, but Okay. On that front, one thought that I had kind of like that was if Trico was the Generation 1 starter, I think Pokemon would be very different. There would be an entirely different Pokemon timeline from a franchise perspective. If Gen 1 was Trico, Charizard, Blastoise, or I guess Sceptile, Charizard, Blastoise, I would be really curious what happens after that. I think there's a very large butterfly effect that would happen there. I just don't know what direction the butterfly's wings would be aimed in. I made this awkward, I'm sorry. No, you didn't make it awkward. I'm just thinking about how to react to it. To pivot the conversation. And I did pivot the conversation. And I pivoted it again. Now we're talking about the conversation being awkward. And now we're going to talk about the fact that my controller is running out of battery. I'm also too lazy to plug it in right now. Alright, I'm gonna give this one more picnic, and then I think I'm gonna be done. Or I'll at least go until I KO all the cruels. Leave no survivors. What if instead of Mewtwo and Mew being stars in the first movie, we had Kyogre and Groudon instead? Then I think it would have to be an entirely different movie. Because the plot of the first movie is that, like, Mewtwo is, like, luring trainers to its island so that it can clone them and create an army. And Kyogre and Groudon aren't smart enough to do that. Not by a long shot. They think in terms of only rain and sun. Alright, well that's where we're gonna end things today. Decent number of battles. I'm able to now fit all of the Beat Me Take My Pokemon in one box, so I can't complain about that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be on Sunday, for combo raids before they disappear. But have a good one, and bye-bye now.